The lights shimmered, the cameras flashed, and the air carried that unmistakable scent of high fashion and anticipation. It was Fashion Vogue 2025, an event that had already made headlines long before it began. But no one, not even the most seasoned journalists or fashion critics, expected what was about to unfold. The exact moment when BTS's Taehyung, known to the world as V, went completely speechless in front of 1,000 breathtaking scenes on the runway. The world's most stylish icons gathered at the event, but all eyes, and every lens, eventually turned toward Taehyung. His presence at Fashion Vogue had been highly anticipated for weeks, with social media already flooded by fans speculating what he might wear, who he might sit beside, and how his charisma would light up the evening. Yet, what made headlines wasn't his flawless gray suit, nor his perfectly tousled hair. It was his raw, human reaction. The expression of awe that took over his face as he watched the models dominate the runway in that very moment. The man known for his calm confidence and effortless charm turned into someone utterly captivated by the art of fashion itself. His reaction? Pure astonishment. His eyes widened, his smile froze, and his hand gently covered his mouth, as if words had suddenly lost all meaning. Social media exploded instantly. Armies across the globe began sharing clips of Taehyung's stunned expression, describing it as the most genuine moment of Fashion Vogue 2025. The hashtag Taehyung speechless trended in over 40 countries within hours. Fans dissected every second of the footage, the glint in his eyes, the way he leaned forward, and how his laughter turned into silent amazement. For someone who has stood on the grandest stages in the world, commanding millions of hearts, it was mesmerizing to see him humbled, even briefly, by the power of another form of art. Fashion Vogue had transformed into more than just a runway show. It became a collision of emotion, style, and silent wonder. As the lights dimmed and the music swelled, a model stepped onto the catwalk wearing a crimson velvet jacket and black tailored pants adorned with metallic fringes. The atmosphere shifted instantly. The crowd whispered in awe, and the cameras clicked in a frenzy. And that was the precise moment when Taehyung's reaction was captured. Those sitting nearby recalled how he slightly leaned forward, eyes locked on the model, completely absorbed by the combination of texture, color, and movement. His reaction wasn't that of a celebrity. It was of an artist, moved by another artist's creation. The red velvet shimmered under the light, mirroring the intensity in Taehyung's gaze that a fashion journalist seated behind him shared later. Taehyung didn't blink for a full 10 seconds. You could tell he was deeply impressed. That look in his eyes wasn't rehearsed. It was real admiration. His face lit up afterward with a small, almost shy smile, the kind that effortlessly melts millions of hearts. Cameras caught every second, and within minutes, the footage went viral. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "Taehyung's silence spoke louder than words." You could feel how much he appreciated the art. Another commented, "When even Taehyung can't describe what he saw, you know it was legendary." The audience didn't just watch a model walk down a runway. They witnessed an emotional exchange between fashion and music, between two worlds that thrive on creativity, passion, and expression. Taehyung, who has long been admired for his impeccable taste in fashion, has often spoken about how clothing is another language, a way to express emotion without words. Tonight, that statement came to life. As he sat there, surrounded by flashing lights and elegantly dressed guests, it was as though fashion itself had spoken directly to him. Observers noted that Taehyung's suit, a tailored masterpiece in a shade of dove gray with subtle plaid detailing, reflected quiet sophistication. It contrasted beautifully with the vivid chaos of the runway, creating a visual dialogue between simplicity and extravagance. Every glance, every subtle gesture from him seemed to echo what many felt but couldn't say. That fashion, at its best, transcends language. Even Anna Wintour, seated a few rows away, was reportedly smiling as she noticed Taehyung's reaction. It was rare to see such pure emotion at an event so often dominated by composure and poise. The internet didn't take long to crown him the scene stealer of the night, not because of a dramatic statement or a fashion stunt, but because of a silent, heartfelt moment. By midnight, global media outlets were already publishing headlines. Taehyung's reaction steals the show at Fashion Vogue 2025. V of BTS proves emotion is the new luxury. and the moment Taehyung fell in love with fashion all over again. Clips flooded TikTok and Instagram reels, often paired with emotional soundtracks and captions like, "When fashion leaves even Taehyung speechless." Fans created edits comparing his reaction to his past appearances at Celine, Cartier, and Paris Fashion Week, but none quite matched this. Why? Because this time, he wasn't performing. He was simply being himself, a man witnessing beauty in motion. The power of Taehyung's silence resonated far beyond the event. It sparked discussions about authenticity in celebrity culture, about how genuine reactions have become rare in an age dominated by curated personas. Taehyung, without saying a word, reminded the world that vulnerability and awe are not weaknesses. They are signs of true connection. The following morning, Fashion Vogue released an official statement praising the energy and sincerity of all attendees, though fans quickly noticed that Taehyung's name was subtly mentioned in the accompanying social media post. The caption read, "When art moves even the most iconic, we know fashion has done its job." Army flooded the comments, tagging Taehyung's account and expressing pride. "You're the soul of fashion, not just the face of it," one fan wrote. Another added, "That moment reminded us why we love him. He feels deeply, genuinely." Even luxury brands joined in the conversation. Celine's creative director reposted the clip of Taehyung with a caption, "Real emotion never goes out of style." Within hours, it became one of the most talked about posts of the week, surpassing millions of likes. As days went by, the world continued to talk about that one silent reaction. But those who know Taehyung best weren't surprised. His artistic soul has always been drawn to emotion, whether through music, photography, or fashion. His recent art projects and collaborations have all reflected that side of him. The introspective artist who seeks meaning beyond aesthetics, Fashion Vogue. It wasn't just about beautiful clothes or glamorous people. It was about that spark, that moment of connection between creator and observer. And in that second, Taehyung embodied what it means to truly see art, not just look at it. Critics praised his natural sensitivity, calling it the highlight of an otherwise flawless night. One fashion editor even wrote, "In a room full of icons, it was Taehyung's silence that spoke the loudest." As Fashion Vogue wrapped up, Taehyung was seen leaving the venue with a serene smile, greeting the photographers with his usual warmth. Despite the chaos of flashing cameras, he carried himself with calm dignity. His eyes, still gleaming with that same sense of wonder, told a story that words could never capture. Backstage, several designers mentioned how inspired they were by his reaction. When someone like Taehyung, who lives and breathes art, reacts like that, it means the show touched something real, said one. It wasn't just a reaction, it was validation. Validation that fashion, when done with emotion and creativity, can still move hearts. Even those who have seen it all, weeks later, the memory of that night still lingers online. Edits, fan art, and digital paintings of Taehyung's reaction continue to circulate. Some fans even describe it as the modern Mona Lisa moment. Subtle, mysterious, and endlessly expressive, people are drawn to it because it reminds them of something deeply human, the ability to be awestruck. In a world that often rewards composure over emotion, Taehyung's unguarded expression became a symbol of authenticity. It wasn't about fame, perfection, or fashion dominance. It was about feeling something real and letting that feeling show. When asked days later about the show, Taehyung reportedly smiled and said softly, "It was beautiful. Sometimes art doesn't need words." That simple statement perfectly captured the essence of who he is, an artist who understands the unspoken language of beauty.